Abby, good to see you. Big story. Hackers steal nearly 3 billion social security numbers. This was a massive data breach. So take a look at this headline. Hackers, again, may have stolen the social security number of every single American. And according to the experts, those numbers are now available for free on an online marketplace for stolen personal data. So let's talk through what we can and should do to keep our personal information safe. And first, you say you need to freeze your credit at all three bureaus.
Yes, so this is number one to protect you and your family from any potential issues. Go ahead and proactively freeze your credit. If you are considering making a purchase or need to make a purchase, get a loan, something like that, you can always unfreeze them. But at least with this, you have the peace of mind knowing that nobody else can use your information to potentially go and get a loan in your name, use your social security number. I think at this point in time, we all really need to accept that this is going to continue to happen. Our information,
Right.
especially the most sensitive private information, is out there most likely. I just got a letter in the mail from a huge institution that has to do with healthcare that they were hacked. Somebody was in their internal system for days and they didn't know about it. So freezing credit, absolutely 100% recommend that everybody do that with, like you mentioned, all three of the big agencies.
And we'll have a link to each of those bureaus there in the video description so people can do that easily. Next, you say monitor your accounts closely.
Yes, and this is a chore, and I know it's a chore, but it is so important to be mindful of what's going on in your accounts, because what these criminals do is they don't maybe do activity that is massive, but they have maybe little charges here and there. With the health insurance issue that I just talked about, they recommended looking at the claims on your health insurance, making sure that the claims that are going in are valid and they were from you. So these things, these little things that could very well go unnoticed, little charges here and there on your credit card, on your bank account, those are the ones that over millions of people, they really add up for these criminals. But those type things. So putting maybe alerts on your credit card. So for example, with some credit card companies, you can have a little pop-up on your phone every time that credit card is used, and you can simply swipe it away if that was yours, but at least you know what's going on. And that's something that you can do to make sure that you're staying on top of what's going on.
Next, you suggest setting up two-factor authentication.
Yes. So talk about a chore and a pain. I understand that two-factor authentication is annoying. It takes time. So this is when you log on to a website or a mobile app, and it asks you to either send an email with a code or send a text with a code. And a lot of times it's human nature to say, no, I don't want to set that up. It's an extra step. It's time consuming, but this is one of the best ways you can protect your accounts and stay on top of who's logging into those accounts. Is someone trying to set up a new password?
Right.
And so this is a non-negotiable in my opinion. So especially for your financial accounts, your bank account, your investment accounts, those type things, they have to have that two-factor authentication. And what we're seeing is that this is no longer an option. It's mandatory, which I think is really smart. But what typically what you'll find is the more time consuming something is, the better it's going to be for protecting yourself.
Right. Yeah. A little bit of a headache, but well worth it. And then last, of course, the biggest risk is us. Hackers will do everything they can to steal our information, and they are very good at it, which means we have to be vigilant.
Absolutely. So with AI and with technology increasing and getting smarter and smarter and smarter, this is a huge issue. And we are all at risk because we're all targets, especially here in America. So we have to be incredibly vigilant about who we're giving our information to. So you go to a website and you want to sign up for, a couple weeks for free. You give them your phone number, your email address. So just being mindful of that sort of thing. Maybe even setting up a kind of a dummy email address. So for those type things, you have an email address that is just for that. And then for your more important information, you have a different email address. Not giving your phone number out online unless you absolutely have to and you trust the website that you're giving it to. What I do personally, if I have to give a phone number to sign up for something, I'll change a digit so I still can get through, but they don't have my actual cell phone number.
Mm.
And also just being very careful about who we're accepting emails from, phone calls. I've heard from clients where they are impersonating their grandchildren, their
Yeah.
children. They're asking for money. They're saying they're in trouble. And like I just mentioned with AI, that's going to become more and more believable. And so we have to be really vigilant. And also, I recommend looking out for each other. So for especially our older family members, they're going to absolutely be a target here. So making sure that we're, as a community, looking out for each other and talking about this more
Mhm.
openly. Because
Mhm.
what happens a lot of times is somebody will fall for a financial scam and then they are embarrassed by it. So they
Yeah.
don't talk about it. And that can really be a spiral where they get themselves in more and more trouble. It happens to a lot of people. And so if we're more open about it, if we talk about it more, hopefully we can decrease the risk for everybody else.
Yeah. So much good information in this conversation, Abby. If somebody has any questions about anything that we've covered, what's the best way to reach you?
You can always give us a call at 678-442-0255. I also recommend going to our website, theretirementfamily.com. We have a lot of amazing resources on there. You can also send us a message, let us know what's on your mind, and we can set up a complimentary phone call with one of our fiduciary advisors to chat.
Great. Abby, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.